Good morning, it's Brian of Brian's Budget Bonsai, and today I'm going to be doing some pruning on a few of my trees out here. I'm not quite sure exactly what I'm going to get, but we'll find something. There's always something to work. But before we do that, I wanted to do a few little updates on things that have been pruned, things that were damaged by improper watering, and I just going to show you what's happening with these. Give you a little status update. All right, first I'm going to start with the bald cypress. Now we see here we've got some new growth at the tips of where we had the prunings. So the bald cypress is starting to respond to the pruning, starting to fill back in again, which is good. The maple root over rock that was had defoliated and pruned after the lack of watering incidents, it's starting to show some very tiny bud formation, but fairly low down. Let's see, maybe a few little buds. If I can get it to focus, there we go. A few little buds forming up here. The other branches, we're not seeing anything on some of those, but so this still has some life in it. What's good to see is the crepe myrtle has got buds pretty much at every cut point. All right, so far no action at the ends of these. This is the viburnum snowball, so not really seeing anything on this yet. Good news over here, these were Delamix regia, or the flame trees. These are the ones that I gave a little hard pruning. This one I had left some green on, and this is all new growth here that's come up. This one, hard pruned, no green on it, has responded by throwing out a whole bunch of branching, which is good. This is the one that really, had the two branches that were in the, right next to each other and not much growth everywhere. Now we're seeing this like branching everywhere. So we're gonna have a lot of choices of what we're gonna use in the future with that one. This is my maple forest. Again, suffered from the watering incident, and it's got new growth pretty much all up and down on most of the trees here. There are a few that are not showing any growth. They may either be slow or they may be casualties here. There's this one over here, I think. No, wait, there's some buds down there. This one's not gone. All right. This one missed some of its defoliation though. Just pick off those dry leaves. We don't need them anymore. They're not doing anything. So all's not lost with that. Over here, you'll see that these are the brain stopped working. Azaleas. Those are the words. Those are the words I'm looking to find. Look at all that growth down there at the bottom of that azalea. These are the ones that I pulled off the curb on one of my daily walks, and it had kind of like emergency potting. They seem to have survived being left at the curb to die, and they're doing pretty well on that. And here are Dave Harding's gifted acacia trees. They seem to be doing well. There's the dude in his forest of golden euonymus. Yeah, euonymus. That's rhymes with you on the bus. Euonymus. That seems to be doing pretty well. My elm forest that's been pruned back twice is doing really well. Here are some of my ficuses that are that were pruned up in the ficus frenzies. They're all doing real well. We'll show you a few more. Here's another set of the ficuses doing really well, showing new growth. seem to be very happy. This is one I don't think I've showed you before. This is actually a little tiny boxwood that I have. Behind that you can see one of my box elders that were pruned back hard in a previous video, and it has responded very well. And behind that is my again, drawing blanks on names this morning. Honeysuckle. Just gotta pause for a little brain reset. These honeysuckles are pruned back, and you see that they've all got new vine growth on them. And this is the one that's a little bit more of the shorter, stouter trunk. And well, these ones are coming right at you. It's 3D, honeysuckle in 3D. They got a whole bunch of new growth at the top of this one. These are more my literati style ones. Oh, wow, look at this. Anakin, you got to be paying more attention. Remember I told you that this was like live vein and deadwood? We have mushroom growth on all that deadwood. And again, I kind of expected that the deadwood would die off, but this is kind of an interesting little feature. I'm getting, you see this in the forest all the time, where you'll see mushrooms growth on deadwood, and that's what's going on in the process, is that part starts to decay. And eventually these are going to be left with these kind of, finger, there we go. Eventually these are going to be left with, just these kind of helical live veins, and with the minimum of the deadwood. As that starts to rot away, I'm hoping that the live veins will kind of fuse together eventually. Well, that might take years. You may recognize this box elder. This is one of the ones that had some hard pruning and deadwood removal. And last I showed you this, it just had just a few buds on it. Just so you guys remember. You remember that work I did? All that putty there, that's covering up some deadwood there. But the last time I showed you this branch here just had a few tiny little buds. Wasn't too sure of it. And you can see it's fully grown out now. So that seems to have survived its hard pruning. This is another one of my ficuses. This is the one in the very small pot. It did suffer from the lack of watering when I went out of town, which was being referred to as the watering incident. But it is showing new growth at all of its, most of its stems. I don't think I lost too many branches, maybe a few, but we'll see. There's growth everywhere on this one. Of course, that one's right next to the crepe myrtle. Behind that is the juniper. That was my legacy juniper. This is the one that I got from a gentleman that I knew who was no longer able to take care of it, but it was also the one that I had to treat for spider mites in one of my earliest videos. It had been rewired all before I started the bonsai channel. This had been very lopsided because it was only it was on a covered porch with only one side facing outside for years, so it had all its growth on one side and none of its growth on the other. So I tried to rearrange the branches so that they were more equally distributed, and pruned it back, and we're getting nice bud back in several areas there. Still getting a little die back here, but I think that the treatment for spider mites has worked, because you can see that we're getting greening, nice green healthy foliage everywhere. Again, I'll probably just have to prune off the dead branches, and continuing to treat with the neem oil for that. More ficuses. This is my main ficus area here. These are all the ones that were pruned back, and you can see that they are all very happily putting on healthy new growth. They're all doing well. This one was repotted. It's doing very well. Down into this area here is a little denser, but oh yeah, look at that one. Nice Nice dense growth. We gotta go way on in there, see what's going on in there. Here is the ficus forest that I made out of the cuttings that were busting their pot. My silver maple that was dug out from the fence line at my mom's house back up in Chicago and then transported up to here. It's doing pretty well. The little sassafras that could, the one that grew up from its base, looks like I got a second sprout coming there. This is the one that won at a raffle at the bonsai club, and its branch died off over the winter. There we go. Yeah, that was the original stub right there. Tiny new growth here. Move focus, there you go, on the weeping willow. This is the one that I had de-wired and then been doing the manual branch bending. We're seeing tiny little bud growth. Let me see if I can do that. There we go. Tiny little bud growth in several areas here. Down here, short little maple growing in the base of my pine in a little pot there. These ones were, again, just a little trunk chop, get some new growth. This one that was in the root maker pot did not survive the watering mishap. Pine's looking pretty good. I haven't done too much work on my pines besides the candle pruning in the spring. This is my blueberry. Again, I haven't done much work on this year. I'm just gonna move it out of the way so we can see the corkscrew willow, I'm sorry. And my little forest, the one with the zombie in it. Here you'll see the root over geode ficus that I did. Also responding really well to the pruning. Got a lot of new growth on that. Roots are looking pretty good. Moss is growing back. This is another maple that had to be hard pruned after, oh wait, focus right there. Had to be hard pruned after the watering mishap. And you'll see that it's got new growth along it all over the place. That's good. On the same subject, we've got another one here. Same thing. Just a wee bit of new bud growth here, new bud growth here. Yeah, right there. So, yeah, Eastern red beds growing from seeds seem to be doing okay, at least in that basket. Again, trying to go with a little bit more of a pond basket here. 50% success rate on this one. One has died off. Of course, it'd be the one with the curlier trunk, of course. This one seems to be doing a little bit better. Everything seems to be okay with the Virginia creepers. No surprise, they are weeds after all. Now this big boy is the river birch that I dug up when the fence was replaced. Again, its base is just huge and it's growing up really nice. There's the trunk chop. Got a lot of things to choose from in the future. Right now, I'm just letting this go to town and grow. Recover as much of its vigor as it can from being dug out of the ground. I'll remember this one. This is, again, I always had to look at the name of it, my sizzling pink fringe flower. This was pruned back in one of my earlier videos. I think this was my front here, and yeah, this is, I think, one of the first ones I did the sheep shearing as start, and you see it's got a ton of new growth. Same thing with the privet next to it. Just the tiniest of new buds on the peach. These are the ones grown from seed. I don't think they're dead yet, but they don't look too happy. But again, next to it is, this is the peach that is from the cutting from the rootstock. Again, one of my sweet gums that was pruned back. I recently moved this to try to equal the growth. This was getting all, again, sunny side, lots of growth. Shady side, minimum amount of growth. A few dead leaves there. I've changed this to have this face the the south side. So hopefully, and put it down to the end. This was in the middle of the bench, so it was kind of shaded. So this hopefully will fill in this side here a little bit. But again, it's got some nice, healthy leader running up there. Oh, let me skip over here. This is a little bit more encouraging. Let me move some of these things out of the way here. Again, peach tree, getting some new growth on it. These are the ornamental. Let me move this other oak out of the way. Getting some new growth on the tips there. This is just a really simple, not too fancy, no really trunk movement, basic upright. Again, oh, sweet gum. There you go. Brain didn't work there for a second. Actually, this pine's doing really well. I think these are white pines. Again, just things that just kind of grow up out of nowhere. This thing, I think I put a heavier bend on it here with one wire, but this was all natural. This was underneath the ground there. So some of these smaller ones, I do have doing the trick of having the smaller pot sitting in a larger pot to make sure that, you know, if the escape roots go in there and they get more nutrients and water from underneath there, so that you can grow a larger tree in a smaller pot. It's a little bit of a cheat, but I do find it works pretty well. You'll see the same thing here on this pine. Again, probably got to clean out some of this stuff here. This stuff right here is growing on the inside. Actually, I could just probably pop. There we go. See, now you can see that nice trunk curvature going in through there, allowing this to be kind of grow as a sacrificial leader to thicken up the base. Eventually, the tree is probably going to be like this part right here. But right now, I'm just letting this thing grow out, help thicken that part up. And again, larger pot set in a slightly larger pot. One of my earlier concrete pot attempts, yeah, it's pretty rough, but it's serving its purpose right now as just basically a soil reservoir. Here's a couple other of my pines. This looks like this video is just turning out into a bench tour. We're gonna probably make just a separate video with the prunings. I'm finding just so many things to talk about. This is my hydrangea. I got a little bit dried out, but I just might prune this one back. This might be something that gets pruned up pretty soon. This is I think this is a root cutting from, or at least maybe something that like was pulled out from crepe myrtle that I have in my garden over here. You can actually see it in the background over there. That's the parent plant. This is a baby that came off the root base and was able to get a little root with that. And that looked really dried out, and I thought was dead after the watering incident. So that one has bounced back and it's got some new growth on it pretty good. I didn't do anything to it besides just make sure it got more water. Right next to it though, we do have a casualty here. I think this maple is dead. But has another little maple next to it, inside it. That does not seem dead. So we'll see. We'll wait. Maybe they'll come back. Okay, we're getting the aerial shots. A couple more of the golden euonymus. Actually, just one laying down flat. Something died here. Don't know exactly. I think that might have been a elm. Another little maple next to it, and another. Ooh, we're getting tangled up here. And next to that is another privet. There we go. And we're back out. Japanese black pine seems to be doing pretty well. Again, pretty much just been, I think I candle pruned it in the spring, and then just letting it live its best life it can here. Get off some of those dead needles, old last year's needle growth. But yeah, just it was repotted, and so I'm just letting it live its life right now. Our maple forests that again, some of the drought damage there on some of these leaves, but you're also seeing new growth. These also were pruned back in earlier videos. This is the one with the truck in it, with the tree growing through there. This one lost a lot of leaves when it dried out, but it has new growth all along there, so looking good, not dead. A couple more of my pines. Another Japanese black pine. Another oak. Another very sad looking procumbens juniper. Hope springs eternal. Anything that I wire up just says, you know what, I'm just gonna die. And anything that's allowed to cascade going like, oh well, that's what I really want to do. I want to get a little weedy. This is one of my collected trees from this fall. Not this fall, this February, I should say. Of the ones that I put in this pot, I am 1 for 3. That one died off. This is the one I picked out of between the fence lines between mine and my neighbors when the old fence was removed. This is the one that I planted in February, picked out in February. I did chop it off because it had grown up a good 3 feet higher than that. It seems to be doing okay. I don't know what species this is. I bet someone could probably tell me what it is. It does have compound leaves. Again, guys, take a good look. Yeah, it didn't have any leaves when it was collected in February, obviously, but this is my churchyard mystery plant. This was a churchyard that I picked this out of. All right, here is same collected at the same time. This is my beech tree. It seems to be doing okay. Again, I put this on the north side of the garage so that it would get basically a little bit of afternoon sun, shaded from the wind. This is the boxwood. No, again, box elder. Sorry, box elder that was the one that had been knocked down for some reason. I don't know whether or not it was on purpose or accident, but it was basically uprooted along the path in our neighborhood that I just basically finished getting out of the ground, chainsawed the top off of it, and this is everything that's green here is new growth from this year. Here's another plant that seems to originally suffered from a lot of leaf loss when it wasn't watered properly when I was out of town. And you can see that this has got a lot of new growth. This is my attempt at either a clump style or a fused trunk, where I've got multiple very small, my smallest of my seedlings when I made the larger forest, having these all bound together and and you can just see from all the leaves that are around it. It dropped a lot of its leaves, but it's got new growth everywhere. So it's doing pretty good. I am going to sign off now, and I'll probably post another video in a little bit of me actually doing some bonsai work instead of just showing off all my stuff. So I will see you all later. Be cool. Happy bonsaiing. See you in the next one.